This is Dr. Kimberly George. Say hi to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
And she's at Commonwealth Allergy and Asthma. Now, I know I have allergies to stuff like pollen. You might too, and who knows what. She's going to show us how easy it is, and I'm not even scared. You ready?
We're ready. All right, so what I've done here on Kat's back is I've just put a little map of all the different allergens that I'm going to put on her. These couple of rows are tree pollen, grass pollen, weed pollen. We have some dust mite, animal dander, since Kat's such an animal lover.
Yay.
And then some molds over here. And this doesn't hurt. This is just marker on the back. And now we're going to go ahead and put the little pricks on.
And they don't hurt either?
They don't hurt. This feels, well, it pinches a little bit because it's like a toothpick on the skin, but it's not a needle, there's no injection, and there's no blood, and they don't stay in the back.
So
okay?
It's not like I thought. See, for a long time I was afraid to go because I thought, oh, I don't want to be stuck by all these needles.
Well, things have changed a lot and things have evolved. So sometimes with some advanced allergy testing, there are some other needle tests we do on the arm, but this is the one we typically do for screening. So this is what most of the patients are getting.
I'm excited.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to do is just apply some controls because it's very important to know if I can interpret the results of the test to make sure you're not on any antihistamines. And a lot of over-the-counter cough and cold medications might contain an antihistamine and you might not even know it.
Okay.
So on this side over here, this is what it feels like, okay?
Oh, that's nothing.
That's the positive control. And on this side over here, we also put a negative control to make sure that if your skin's super sensitive and you make bumps just from being pricked with nothing, that we can interpret the rest of the test.
All
right?
Okay, great. That was easy.
So
it didn't hurt, guys. And I'm a chicken. We all know that.
Now we're going to put the rest of the tests on. So just try to hold real still for me, but that's all they feel like, okay?
Oh, that's big. No big deal.
And there's about 18 or so different trees that I put on.
Wow, that many trees?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, you could be allergic to so many things.
And I'll tell you a little bit more about what trees are most predominant in Virginia in just a minute.
Okay. Yes, I know trees and pollen. I sometimes feel like I can taste pollen.
Well, if you get it in your mouth when you're outside breathing, that you very well could. A lot of people get itchy mouth symptoms from inhaling pollen through the mouth.
Wow. You are so gentle and you don't scare me.
Oh, you're sweet. Now, I just put on oak pollen there, which is the most predominant tree pollen in Virginia. It's actually one of the highest pollen counts right now, and Richmond seems to be one of the worst cities in America for pollen count.
Well, I got to tell you, Kim, I never really experienced problems from allergies until I moved here.
Well, that is very common.
And people say all the time, it's the allergy capital of the world.
It is. You can go to websites like pollen.com or others, and they will list the worst cities in America for allergens right now, and Richmond is often number one.
Now, you can do this on kids, adults, everybody, right?
Absolutely. I do it sometimes in babies. I think the youngest I've done is probably 2 months of age. We do it to test often for milk allergy.
Okay.
Now, I'm just testing you for environmentals. I haven't put any foods on here because we didn't discuss if you were allergic to any foods yet, but we could do that.
This is amazing what you do.
Oh, thanks.
You got a new office. Where are you located?
We are located on Knuckles Road, which is pretty close to 295, and it's right off of Concourse Boulevard across from Strayer University.
Wow.
All right, Kat, now I'm doing your animals.
Okay. Meow. Tweet, tweet.
Actually, that was a cat. There's a dog.
But I'm one of these people, I would never get rid of my pets if I was allergic.
Well, you know, fortunately, I rarely tell people to get rid of pets, but there are a lot of things you can do to kind of minimize the dander. All right, now we're doing some molds.
Like not sleep with them all?
They certainly shouldn't be sleeping on your head. Or on the bed.
I'm guilty.
I thought you might be.
They're all in bed with me.
I thought you might be, but that's just because you're such a loving person.
Oh, I love those fur balls.
All right, we only got a few more to do, and then we'll be all done.
Oh, we got to do a quick standby for the weather. She tells live radio.
You can go ahead and do that if you want. I got one more to put on.
Okay, one more.
There you go.
And we'll take a break, do the weather?
Yep.
Oh, that's easy. I can do this while I'm doing that. That's pretty cool.
You can be allergy tested and do the weather. All right, so it's been about 20 minutes, so we're going to read the results now of your testing.
Great.
So what I'm going to do first is just wipe some of the excess extract off a little bit here.
This is so cool.
So one of the things I noted on you, Kat, is that on your negative control here, there's no bump, so you're not extra sensitive, so you can handle the skin test and you didn't make a little bump there.
Yay.
And then on your positive control over here, it's a little bit tinier than what I usually like, but you just told me that you're on a nasal antihistamine, and a little bit of that gets absorbed into the blood, so this
Okay.
reaction might be a little bit blunted because of that.
Okay.
But there are still some stuff here that popped up. It might be underestimating things a little bit because
Sure.
of that medicine, but we can go with the results that we have.
Oh, this is interesting.
So
Okay.
what I'm going to do now is just physically measure these little bumps, and I'll tell you whether or not they appear significant then.
This is such a cool science.
So I'm just going to go through here, and normally I'll have like a little recorder, but
Right?
I'm going to go ahead and write them myself, so it'll take a little bit of
You're
time.
so sweet.
I'm multitasking for you, Kat.
You're very kind.
So we got a couple of the trees coming up.
She makes house calls. No.
You know, there are a couple doctors that still do that,
Yes.
but it would be hard to bring all my allergy tests there.
You have a really good phone number, too.
Yeah, it's. I made it so that it'd be easy to remember. It spells UITCH,
Isn't that cute?
or 968-4824 for those of you with Blackberries who don't have numbers with the letters.
Or somebody like me who's just challenged.
Make you hard on yourself, Kat.
Aww.
All right, so we got the trees done, and I'll go over the results in a minute, but I'm going to
Okay.
move on to the grasses. And it looks like you have some grasses coming up here.
Well,
And
it sure
then-
seems like it, you know?
Grass season actually peaks Memorial Day weekend here in Richmond.
Wow.
So it's really typically the very end of May where it's at its worst, and then it kind of peters out over June. And there's still some around in August and September, but not nearly as much as there is in May.
What about mold? When is it worse?
Mold is usually worse in the fall, simply because it's a little bit more humid and wet on the ground with all the leaves on the ground. But it's considered a year-round allergen, and it can be indoors and outdoors. Mold also is higher when it's just a little bit more rainy because mulch harbors a lot of mold also.
There's lots of stuff. The more pretty the yard.
That's right. The more mulch they are, the more mold there probably is.
Sure, sure.
And indoor-wise, houseplants can harbor mold because the soil
Didn't know that.
can get moldy.
Wow. I didn't know that.
So, Kat, is your house a little bit dusty or not so much?
A little bit, yeah.
Fortunately, you don't look too sensitized to dust mites, so.
Good. Because actually it's a lot dusty. I've lots of animals. And I'm not the best housekeeper in the world, okay?
Well, you lucked out. Now, your kitty cat popped up a little bit. So did the dog.
Okay.
But we can go over that. And then finally, I'm just going to read the molds here. And those are coming up a little bit. 330. 3. And what I actually do, the measurements are in millimeters.
Uh-huh.
And typically we consider anything positive if it's at least 3 millimeters, assuming your control is negative.
Right.
So several of these molds are coming up. 3.
I always feel like I'm allergic to mold. It's like one of those things you can taste and feel, and headaches and all that good stuff.
Yep, mold, since it's a year-round allergen, contributes to a lot of chronic headaches and sinus conditions.
There you go.
All right, so we're all done reading it.
Isn't
And-
that cool, everybody?
Typically what I would do is just wipe this off so you go home with a nice clean back. And some of the bumps, if they're larger, might take a couple days to completely be normal, but the majority of people will look back to normal by the end of the day.
And there's nothing special you need to do or anything.
Nope, there's nothing special. Sometimes if the spots are really itchy, I can rub a little cortisone cream on there for you, but most people don't even need that.
And we'll talk about results. And I just can't wait. Thank you.
You're welcome, Kat.